Good evening, good folks, and welcome to the City of Muskegon City Commission General Session for this Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. Before we get on our business, I want to share that we do have a few public comment periods this evening, one of which is towards the beginning of the meeting on any agenda items. We also have public comment during public hearings, and then we have public comment at the end of the meeting on anything you wish to share with the City Commission. For general public comment, it's a time for you to give your input and your perspective and experiences with the City Commission. It is not time for back and forth or Q&A or dialogue during public comment. We can arrange times to do that separately. We do have public comment by phone as well as in person. If you are in person, I encourage you to complete a public comment form at the back of the room and hand that to our clerk's office at the end of this dais here. Please provide your name and home address. Note I'll not be sharing your home address, nor will I be asking you to announce your home address publicly. That is for our records. If you are a City of Muskegon resident, I will acknowledge which neighborhood you're joining us from. And if you're not a City of Muskegon resident, I'll be acknowledging which city, township, or village you're joining us from. Everyone gets 3 minutes to provide their comments, whether they're giving it in person or by phone. And before we get started with our business, we will be led in prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you wish to join us in either of those activities, I ask that you stand if you're so capable of doing so. And we're going to be led in prayer by Pastor Dwayne Bennett, who's joining us from Mount Zion Church of God in Christ in downtown Muskegon.
God, we come to you with humility and gratitude. We thank you for being a God of love who is with us now. You have never left us nor forsaken us. Your grace has brought us safely through thus far, and your grace will lead us into the day. We thank you for making us, each of us, in this room under the sound of my voice and within our community, city, with dignity and infinite worth. I thank you tonight, God, for these, your servants, our mayor, our city manager, city staff, city council members. I give thanks for the way of service they have chosen to take up on behalf of all of us. We all come to this room tonight as complex human beings carrying burdens, joy, and hope, trusting that you alone will hold us together. God, it's in your love and peace. Help us, Lord, to trust you even the more than our fears and our wounds, even our accomplishments. Make us lean, or help us to lean on your everlasting arms. And so we pray that you will be glorified tonight through the decisions of the City Council. We pray that you will have the eyes to see how our lives are connected and how our common good is held together when we listen and respond to those most vulnerable among us. We pray that your kingdom would come to Muskegon as it is even in heaven. Though your power working in us, your servants, may your truth be revealed. May your light shine brighter. May the voices who's been silenced be heard and clear. Defend this cause, O God, through your governing body tonight. We pray for wisdom, for strength, for courage to do what is correct and suitable for all of our citizenry. May we put interest of others above our own. May we act with love and for common good. May we be good neighbors, recognizing your image in every person here. We thank you again for this council, mayor, city council, for all responders. It's in your son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Pastor. May we have roll call, please?
Commissioner German,
Here.
Commissioner Gorman,
Here.
Commissioner Cochin,
Here.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Here.
Mayor Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Here.
Commissioner Keener.
Here.
Thank you. We are all assembled. All right, first we're going to get started with honors, awards, and presentations, and we're going to kick it off with a proclamation for Constitution Week. And so we're joined by our friends with the Daughters of the American Revolution, the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And so I invite you up to the podium so you may give remarks, and I'll present this to you as well. I'll stand as I read this. It's Constitution Week, September 17th through 23rd, 2025. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, adopted on September 17th, 1787, stands as the supreme law of our land, securing the blessings of liberty and establishing the framework of government for our great nation. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize the anniversary of the signing of this historic document and to celebrate the enduring principles of freedom, justice, and democracy that it embodies. And whereas September 17th, 2025 marks the 238th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is the privilege and duty of the American people to commemorate this milestone by reaffirming our commitment to the rights and responsibilities of citizenship as set forth in the Constitution. And whereas the Muskegon chapter of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution has requested that the week of September 17th through 23rd, 2025 be recognized as Constitution Week to encourage the study and education of this great document, which is the safeguard of our liberties. Now, therefore, I, Kenneth D. Johnson, Mayor of the magnificent city of Muskegon, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd, 2025 as Constitution Week in the city of Muskegon. And I encourage all citizens to reflect upon the importance of our Constitution and to reaffirm their commitment to the ideals of liberty and justice for all. And so, thank you, ladies. If you wish to, I'm going to come up there and present this to you. If you wish to give remarks, and I think that they wanted to grab a photo as well, so I don't know if Deborah's here.
I just want to say thank you to the mayor and the city of Muskegon for making this proclamation, and we hope that we can work further with you in the celebration of America's 250th birthday coming up next year. Thank you.
Thank you for your support, and as we approach the 250th anniversary, we are aware of all of these important documents that have provided for liberty and justice for all of us. Thank you.
And I again say thank you for allowing us to come here. This is quite an honor, and we want to educate the public more and schools about Constitution Week. And we're going to have a great display at the Norton Shores Library. And we have a lot of brochures, hand pocket copies of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, bookmarks that have the pledge and also the preamble. So we have a lot of things and little flags, for free things for people to pick up, and having the proclamation from the city of Muskegon, that will be very nice to display on the table. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are we doing it in front of the flags?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. I understand you have to run. Okay. Thank you all. Take care. Be well. Next up, we have the 2025 Community Life Survey for Muskegon County.
Sorry.
Hello.
Good evening. If you'd like
sorry,
to
yes.
introduce yourselves.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us, Mayor Johnson, City Manager Seifert.
City Commission and to Assistant City Manager Mike Sell for inviting us. We appreciate that tremendously, the opportunity. My name is Allison Ravel. I work with Access Health. I am the Muskegon SHIP Project Manager with Access Health.
My name is Jen Brangen. I'm the Senior Innovation Strategist.
I'm going to talk just very briefly. Okay, next slide, please. About our community life survey, which is now open. This slide here is something that we created so that our partners could use it in their internal meetings, things like that, so that they can have staff, people who may be attending meetings prior to something beginning in that downtime, that they can use that freely to communicate the survey to their attendees. Next slide, please. But first, I want to talk just a little bit about Access Health. We have been in the Muskegon community since 1999. Next slide, please. So we offer several different programs throughout Muskegon County. One of our flagship program is the C3 Health Plan, which is a low-cost, full health coverage plan for small businesses to provide to their employees, small businesses that might not generally be able to afford those types of benefits for their employees. It allows for them to maintain employees, quality employees, and for those employees to receive health benefits that they might not normally be able to afford. Next slide, please. And the plan really is rooted in what is called the 8 domains of health. So we believe that your health is not just your blood sugar or your blood pressure. It involves things like emotional health. How do you cope with life? Social health, sense of connection. What is your support system? Spiritual health. What is your sense of purpose? Financial health, satisfaction with your current financial status. Is your finances causing you stress? All of those play into overall wellness, and they are an integral part of the programming at Access Health, which Jen's going to talk a little bit about. Next slide, please.
Hi, yes. So over the years, these last 26 years in business, as we tried to improve the health of individuals and support small businesses, we realized that all of the problems that they're facing are systemic. Systemic issues cannot be solved by an individual organization or one sector. So we have moved into cross-sector collaborative work. Some of the programs that we have that you may be familiar with is Livability Lab. We know we have some of you sitting there in front of us today that have been engaged in the lab. That is resident-led, data-driven problem solving that we do across Muskegon County. We have the new Muskegon County Community Information Exchange to bring people together. We support innovation in a number of ways. Right now we're convening helped with the doulas. But the one that we're talking to you about today is called the Muskegon. And that was a grant originally we got through the National Institutes of Health to work with employers, residents, and other agencies together to increase economic mobility. That we realized that for a lot of people to increase their health, we need to improve their economic situation. There are barriers people have to employment and health together, and that we created the SHIP to try and.
Next slide, please. And then you can actually go to the next one. So the SHIP was developed as a community wellness plan designed to improve overall health of Muskegon County residents by helping them to overcome barriers to employment and sustained employment. We are doing that through the alignment of local resources. We are wanting to address what are some of the most common barriers to employment, which include childcare, transportation, and healthcare. So through that alignment, we have brought coalitions. We have a think tank which has wide representation throughout the community from different facets of the community, so nonprofits, employers, elected officials, policymakers, along with many others, including people with lived experience. So community members are also part of the think tank. Next slide, please. In addition, I do want to add about the transportation. So transportation has been kind of a dual topic between the SHIP and the Livability Lab. In the Livability Lab, there are several action teams that are created, and so the transportation this year took on more of a SHIP facet through Livability Lab by really trying to get in touch with employers and encouraging them to subsidize and support transportation options for their employees to get to and from work. And that has resulted in some different distribution materials that we are now actively working on getting out into the community through outreach with the Employers Association, the Rotary, the Chamber, different types of partnerships that we have to try and reach those individuals and those employers to stress the importance of supporting transportation for their employees. Next slide, please.
Okay. And all of that brings us to our survey. So right now, we have launched the Community Life Survey for Muskegon County. When we had the NIH funding, we worked for about 2 years. We partnered with the Michigan Public Health Institute and the W.E. Upjohn Institute for Employment Research, based out of Kalamazoo. And we did about a 300-page community assessment, we looked at your housing study, we looked at a variety of local resources that were available, tried to look at anything that we could to make sure that we had the information we needed to design programs that can help people. So we identified some critical gaps in knowledge that we don't have about Muskegon County residents. So we designed the survey. We worked with Read Muskegon to make sure it's accessible, that the language is not difficult to understand, and we're trying to get that out there so the information can guide the SHIP and other solutions. We share information very broadly when we get it. For Livability Lab, this is a copy of the data book that we produce every year with the lab. This has the results of that survey and other local data. So when we get these survey results, they'll not only be taken back to the think tank to guide those programs, given freely to our partner. It'll go in next year's lab book. I can promise that. I helped write this. So we're going to share that information because if you want to solve problems, you have to really understand them. You can't design an effective solution unless you really know that problem. And so that's why this survey is so important. We need to get as many responses as we can across Muskegon County. We're trying to help low-income workers, but we need everybody in order to we have MPHI is going to analyze that and give us those statistically significant differences, and we're asking questions that just haven't been asked before. But it's short, 5 to 6 minutes, and if we can get your help in spreading that, then we'll get the information to improve program delivery in the county.
Next slide, please. So I think we touched on this a bit, why it matters. We can't design the solutions that we need for the community until we know what the community wants. We need their input in order to do that effectively. Next slide, please. So how anyone can help, the city included, is to share this widely through social media, through outreach, we have a QR code that makes it very easy to link through to this survey. We want to achieve 1,750 responses to this survey by September 26th. We're currently around 450, and we are doing a hard push. We've been out at community events. We were at the Labor Day event. We are going out to job fairs. We are really making in-person pushes to get in front of the community, but we also need the help of partner organizations. We've put together a media kit. We have sample language that can be used. Really just trying to get it out there so that everyone has the opportunity to answer and provide their input. Next slide, please. So again, this is the QR code here for anybody who's here who would like to link through to that. If anyone has any questions, you can contact me directly at Access Health. I am willing to come out to locations of business and bring flyers. And we, again, appreciate very much this opportunity to present before the City Council, the City Commission, to bring this forward to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you for being here this evening and presenting, and more of the work that you're doing, day in and day out throughout the year. But it is so important to get this information to inform the work that you're doing and the programs and the services. If you're not approaching that goal by September 26th, do you think you may extend the window in which people can complete the survey by a week or two or something, or to try to get more?
Some discussions about that. We do need to consult with our research partners in Lansing at MPHI just because there was a timeline that was created, but I think there is perhaps some wiggle room.
Okay.
So,
And we are getting quite a few partners stepping up, looking to share that with their employees and their staff, so we're optimistic, but
Okay.
we can definitely use all the help.
Because I have some ideas, so I'll follow up
Love that.
with you
Thank
all.
you.
Questions, commissioners? Commissioner Kilgo.
Thank you. I actually saw the survey. I think maybe Friday or Saturday online. I took the survey, I shared it on my social media, and it really is, they're all great questions. And if I can see if you all have the data from our entire community on some of those questions that were asked, that different programs, different services, different grants may be available. So for anyone, watching us or watching the replay, I definitely would encourage you to take just a few moments and fill out the survey, because overall it's going to be great for our community. So thank you all for your work.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Any other questions or comments, commissioners? No? Then I'll just share, I don't know if you spoke, go back to that.
Oh, sorry.
'Cause I don't know if you spoke it, and folks might not be able to see this at home, but the link to complete that online is bit.ly/community life Muskegon. So anyone at home or listening, otherwise, go to bit.ly/community life Muskegon to complete that survey. So thank you again.
Mayor Johnson.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
so much.
All right, that brings us to our public hearings. First up, we have neighborhood enterprise zone certificates for 973 Ducey Avenue, 983 Ducey Avenue, and 1003 Ducey Avenue. Good evening. Kindly introduce yourself and please report out on this item.
Good evening. Isabella Gonzalez, Development Analyst for the City of Muskegon. So today we have a public hearing for NEZ certificates on Ducey Avenue. So it's 973, 983, and 1003. All of these homes are going to be developed by Stephen Homes and Investment. They submitted their application and the proposed sale prices that they have are $200,000 each for 973, 983 Ducey, and then $225,000 for 1003 Ducey. The applicant met all local and state requirements for the issuance of NEZ certificates. In the NEZ, the addresses are in the NEZ map, so they're within our boundaries. And then we approved them for a 15-year abatement. And I actually have the developer here today to answer any questions regarding these properties.
All right. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff on this item? Do you have any questions for the developer on this item?
I have a question.
Commissioner German?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Benedict, if you would kindly come up to the podium and introduce yourself. Thank you, Analyst Gonzalez.
Yes, Steve Benedict, office address 1042 Terrace.
Commissioner German.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Benedict.
How you doing?
Good to see you again.
Good.
I see you keeping busy.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yep.
We talked before when I had you at the podium here about these homes and the people that's buying these homes. Are these local residents that's buying these homes? I need to know this.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, we're on 227 minus 5, 22. So this is build 23, 24, and 25 this year. And I think we've sold probably 16, maybe 17. And I'm aware of maybe one or two people.
That's local, yeah. Yeah, and the reason I asked that question because city did a study a while back here. We talk about the need for homelessness, shortage of homes, and I'm trying to see where the study is really benefiting the community here in the city of Muskegon when it comes to housing and people getting homes here. So, and for some reason, I don't see that, which is a concern to me.
Yeah, these houses are listed on the MLS, which is published on the World Wide Web, that go to, I don't know, 3 trillion people, right? So we don't have any control over who buys these. I just know we hear all the time how affordable Muskegon is compared to Grand Haven. We closed on one last week. The people moved here from Grand Haven onto Wood Street. And they said that same house in Grand Haven is $150,000 more. It's 988 square feet. So they have a family. Hopefully they attend Muskegon Public Schools. They work in the city of Muskegon. But I have no control really over, they're all listed on MLS, and if the buyer comes along and that's a resident of the city of Muskegon or the city of Muskegon Heights, let's do it, But at the end of the day, we have to sell these to keep building.
Right.
So-
And that's not targeted.
This
at
is a
cheap,
lower price point. We've never, this is my third summer in Jackson Hill and Marquette, and in Nelson now. So, we have never hit this price point, so I don't know what it's gonna bring. There hasn't been a house that we've put together that we can list with a realtor for 200,000 yet.
Yeah.
And we will hit this. I promise you, it will be listed for no more than 199.9. The downfall is it's gonna have a crawl space, and the other downfall is it's gonna be 2 bedrooms.
Okay.
But we're just trying to hit a different demographic, I guess.
Right. Yeah, and that wasn't directed at you. I'm just
Yeah,
trying
no,
to get some
I can
clarity.
tell you the ones that we built that are 2,400 square feet, that are 325,
Yeah.
I can't give them away.
Yeah.
So, that's a big family. I think though that, we should see 3 and 4 bedroom homes, but I don't think the Marquette and Jackson Hill neighborhood's ready for 2,400 square feet yet. But, so we'll sit on those. We'll get our first tax bill this year, non-homesteaded, because they're finished, and I'll be happy to pay that. But I can't control who's, unfortunately buying these.
Buying the
They are families, though.
Yeah.
I can tell you, that's the one thing, I think back when Frank was here, that was my question, that the census is up and the census is down with Muskegon Public Schools, and we continue to build all these homes. And I can tell you, from talking to residents, Marquette's popular because it's a beeline for where?
Yeah.
Orchard View schools.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but as I talk to the residents, that's where they're going. But they're
All right,
living
thank
here.
you.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner German.
Yeah.
I'll just note, to piggyback on the conversation, happily, I learned last week that Muskegon School Census is up.
Okay.
So we are
Yeah,
seeing-
2 years ago when I started.
Yeah, back
It
then.
was down.
Well, we're seeing
And I
things
think
turn
at that
around.
time,
Yeah.
time, I think Dusendang had built 100 homes. I'm
So,
like,
yeah.
how is it down?
So, I'm just
But-
remarking that Muskegon Schools, I just heard from the superintendent
good.
last week that the census is up this year.
That's good to hear.
So it's
That's where I went.
turning
we had
around and-
400 kids in our graduating class, and now it's two
seeing
something.
progress in that regard, which I'm really excited about. I also just want to make a remark with regard to our housing needs assessment that we had done a few years ago. It did reveal a significant need for housing across the price spectrum, both owner occupied as well as rental. And it also revealed that there's about 20,000 people, showed about 20,000 people work in the city of Muskegon, don't live in the city of Muskegon, but 10% of them, so roughly 2,000, would live in the city of Muskegon if there were housing stock available for them that met their needs. And so it sounds like you're helping to meet that need based upon, you just mentioning that one of the homeowners having already working in the city
Yeah,
of Muskegon.
they work here.
And is now going to be living in the city of Muskegon. So it's meeting the need identified in the housing needs assessment. The other thing that I just want to recognize, although I fully support Commissioner German in wanting us to provide housing for our existing residents and make sure that we have affordable housing for our existing residents. But one thing to keep in mind is we are an attractive community. We have good quality of life. We've got lower cost of living, particularly relative to surrounding areas and the state and the country. And so people are gravitating to Muskegon. And so any new housing construction that's happening, even if it is being acquired by people that don't presently live here, that's helping to prevent another existing house that is here from being purchased and diverted from our existing residents, and thus thereby increasing the pricing pressure. And so every little bit helps. And so I just wanted to share that. And then I saw Commissioner Kilgo, but I think
Yep.
Mr. Manager, did you have something to
Yeah,
add as
just
well?
one quick clarity to answer, or maybe not answer, but to give Commissioner German some information and everyone on the commission. The Development Services team is doing a survey of folks who purchased infill housing homes to understand who we're attracting and who's coming in, so that we can get that information and share it with you guys.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you repeat that, Mr. Manager?
The Development Services team is doing a survey of folks who've purchased infill housing homes. Right, we're focusing on our infill housing homes to see who is purchasing them and who's been moving into those homes. So we're not going to identify them individually, but we'll get some aggregate data.
Thank you.
Which would be good to know because we've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
that targeting, hoping to sell our our infill homes to folks at the 120% AMI and less. And so that'd be good information to have. Commissioner Kilgo, then Commissioner Cochin.
Thank you. First, a comment for you, Mr. Benedict, and for our public. Thank you for building houses in this price point. They're surely needed in this neighborhood. These particular ones are in my ward. Also, being in real estate, there aren't new construction homes in that area that are this price, as you know. So I'm glad to see some variety in the houses that you're building in the neighborhood. We have to teach our residents how to buy houses. We have to have focuses on homebuyer education because there are a ton of homes on the market right now, I can tell you. And I can tell you it's a great time to get one of those houses, whether they're a new construction or an existing home, because the feds are set to meet soon and the rumor is they're going to go down. When rates go down, there's going to be a ton of buyers in the market. So it's a great time to get in before that happens. But as far as new construction, market rate housing, those houses are never going to be for our unhoused people. We have to have the city and state government, so that means the city of Muskegon, us, our state government, nonprofits, philanthropists. Those are going to be the people that can help house our unhoused people. Developers can help. Developers can, come in and say, yeah, we got some money together. Here, we can put a program together. They'll come in and help, I'm sure. But they're never going to be able to build houses for our unhoused because houses cost money to build. And obviously, unhoused people don't have the money to buy those houses. So I'd love to see the city of Muskegon, the state of Michigan, nonprofits in the area. Let's all come together and sit down and put the plan together if we want to build houses for our unhoused folks.
Let's not leave out the county.
Yeah, and County of Muskegon. That's right. It's going to take everyone. It's going to take all of us. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Commissioner Cochin.
Yes. I just wanted to thank you for the work that you have been doing, and say that I feel that the information that Commissioner German was asking for is important, and I'm very happy to hear that the city manager and the team will be collecting that information to help us understand who's buying these houses, because I think what he said is valid. There's concerns about who's buying up these houses at these attractive price points, and are there things that we can do, like Commissioner Kilgo mentioned, with more housing, educational classes and working with the county, or more with, no offense to you, but the Habitat for Humanity folks, to get more housing out there. Because my concern, not related to you necessarily, is that we are seeing people being pushed out, our regular citizens who live here on a daily basis, who are struggling to afford things and make ends meet, and therefore they ended up getting pushed out. And so I don't want to see that happen. So I'm glad to hear that we're working on it. We've got some ideas. I would like to see us continue to work forward on that. So, and thank you.
Absolutely. Any questions or comments with regard to the issuance of an NEZ certificate? No.
If I may, one more thing. I want to say, like, how much this NEZ helps. So we built 2 houses on Marquette that were not in the NEZ. The longest one of our houses has been on the market, with the exception of the 2,400 square foot ones, is roughly, I think, like 17, 18 days. The 2 on Marquette that are not in the NEZ zone were 200 plus days. So you're talking everybody, to make it affordable. When you add the NEZ, it really puts the interest rate somewhere down around 3.5% or 4% if you think about no property tax. So it really helps these people to be able to afford these homes. I will say, I don't think as many of them are first-time home buyers. I know a lady that right now that lives over on Francis. We kind of built a house to her design. She's going to start taking care of her grandkids, but she's lived on Francis for 30-some years, and she just needs something bigger with conforming 3 bedrooms that aren't in the basement without an egress. So it's happening, but the NEZ definitely is helping people get into these homes, which the first round we did, I didn't even know it was possible. And that's when they talked to me. But yeah, at the end of this summer, we have built 71 homes, and I think 52 of them are in the NEZ zone. The first year, nobody got NEZ. You guys are getting $7,000 a house homesteaded. It's kind of crazy, but it is what it is, right? So it's cost of
I wish
business.
we kept all that.
Yeah, I don't know how it gets split up, but I know people call me and they're like, "Have you seen the tax bills up here?" And I said, you just you got to live in it for 1 year, and then you can fight it, and they can use comparable sales from the older homes. So you just got to suck it up for 1 year.
Yeah, that's a common misconception because we collect the money, but we don't keep the money.
Okay, yeah, I don't know how it's split up, but it's a lot.
Like less than a fifth is what we keep. Commissioner German, you had a question or comment with regard to the issuance of the NEZ certificate?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Again, you kind of touched on it, Mr. Benedict, also. Some of these people may be first-time home buyers, some may not. I can see if you're a first-time home buyer, that will benefit you, freeze those taxes and not be able to pay for 15 years. Now, why are you asking for 12? I mean, not 12, but why are you asking for 15?
Okay, so I don't ask for anything.
Okay.
This is to benefit the buyer. I don't get any tax credit from this.
Yeah.
I get $0 from this.
Understood.
Yeah, all it does, I truly believe, and I might be wrong, someone will have to correct me, but I believe it helps you get residents into your community because as I stood up here before, and I don't have the facts in front of me, but if I remember right, you could have spent $40,000 more and lived in the Odno subdivision in Fruitport as you can in the city of Muskegon because their taxes are that much lower in Fruitport. So this is helping people get into your community because your millage rate is so much higher than the competition in the $285,000, $300,000 price point.
Now, with that being said,
That's who I compete against.
yeah, who you competing with? Right.
And at $200,000 now, I'm going to be competing against people that want to live in Muskegon Heights because they have new construction now and they're selling those for $185,000, $200,000. So I'll be competing with Muskegon. At $200,000, I won't be competing with anybody that wants to live in Roosevelt Park or Norton Shores. But at $285,000, we are competing with people that I would say have options.
Yeah. And that's the concern. And Commissioner Cochin mentioned, price pushed out, and I've said that for years. I see the pathway to gentrification. I've stressed that before we even got here, and we're seeing more of that. I talked to constituents on my base, people on the street. Commissioner Keener mentioned yesterday about homeless people sleeping in the Fisherman Landing Park. We have a huge crisis, and I know for a fact, and I've traveled across the states and the United States here to different events and conferences. We have the same problem everywhere. I mean, this is
Yeah, I have them outside my warehouse every morning. I say good morning to them.
Mm-hmm.
Their mission's overfilled. My warehouse is on Park Street, and I see the same guys every morning. I get it.
Yeah.
But I think to go back to Commissioner Kilgo's point, I might be wrong, but gentrification only happens when you sell. When you continue to pass the generational wealth down to families, gentrification can't happen. So you got to tell the carrot that's dangled over your head, and we have to educate people. Taxes don't uncap when they're passed on to family members. Like when someone passes away and the son moves in and the grandkid moves in, the taxes don't uncap. And we have to educate people that instead of throwing a for sale sign up, move a family member into this free and clear house and take advantage of these taxes that aren't going to uncap. Gentrification can't happen unless you sell.
Yeah.
No one can force you out except eminent domain.
So, gentlemen, so I think this is a important conversation.
Right.
Yeah, and I'd love to talk more about it with you,
but I was just segueing back to that. Yeah.
NEZ certificate.
Yeah.
We're issuing, talking specifically about issuing an NEZ certificate.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, and with that NEC certificate, and I look at it because these are opportunity zones that we use to do that. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, who's getting the opportunity? Okay, so if you can buy a home and fortunate enough to pass it down, and that way you have that generational wealth. But the homelessness, the people that is not getting the homes are not able to have the opportunity here, based on the need for homes and building. I'm not seeing that, and that's the issue here. That's what I'm saying. Nothing against you.
Yeah, no, it's not against me. But just to go one step further, but everyone has to start out somewhere.
Yep.
And my goal in Marquette, now this is just how I've envisioned it happen. My first house was 1992 Wood Street. I actually lived in it, paid $8,000. I've sold 3 homes to get to where I'm at today. So how this should work is someone buys one of these houses up here for $200,000. They live in it for 5 years, and they're like, you know what? I want a 3rd bedroom. Then I buy a house for $285,000. You have to start somewhere, right? And so, I don't have the crystal ball. I just know that in order to incentivize people, this does not benefit me in whatsoever. You're asking residents to come here that we're competing against other municipalities. But there has to be some kind of like golden egg of this is what we have to offer, welcome to our city. Because you also have to remember too, and this no disrespect to anybody up here, when they move into the city of Muskegon, besides Fruitport or Norton Shores, they're paying city income tax. You're getting another 1% from them. And someone that's affording these houses, I guarantee you, they have to make $100,000 a year between two of them.
Yeah.
Because I know what the payments are.
Yeah.
So you're getting another $1,000 a year on top of the property taxes that they're paying.
Well, thanks for that, Mr. Bennett.
No, you're very welcome.
Yeah, appreciate
Anytime.
it. Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions or comments with regard to the issuance of an NEZ certificate for these three properties? If not, we're going to open it up to a public hearing. Anyone in the audience that wishes to give comment with regard to the issuance of an neighborhood enterprise zone certificate for 15 years at 973 Ducey Avenue, 983 Ducey Avenue, and 1003 Ducey Avenue. Yes, Ms. Renee Starr joining us from the city of Norton Shores. You have up to 3 minutes to provide your remarks on the issuance of NEZ certificates for just those three properties.
Hello, I'm Dr. Renee Starr, and I am a real estate broker and builder for 25 years. I know Stephen, I've known him for nearly that entire time, and he's a great person. I would like to say that any type of opportunity for housing in this city is good at all levels and at all price points. It brings forth growth and economic growth within the city, brings forth a tax base eventually as people continue to have that opportunity to strengthen themselves in that time. And you never know if interest rates go back down, they can have an opportunity to refi. And so at that point, their payment would be cheaper in a few years before that occurs. But I also heard within that situation how many people were concerned about the homeless. And that's my specialty. For whatever reason, God told me as a pastor and a woman of God to specialize in that arena. And we've spent over $250,000, actually $300,000 in this city within the last 3 years for the homeless. And I think as we grow our parks, those are nice things, but as I mentioned to someone about 3 years ago, I believe it was Jake, I said those same parks we're putting millions in, people are going to be sleeping in them. And that's what we see today. So I would just say that as we do this, I think we should do this in whatever way we can. We need to focus on housing. Jake did a study about 3 years ago, and we're 3,000 units short. Now, I know he's been doing a lot of great work. Stephen has been doing a lot of great work to reduce those units, but I think there's a lot of work to go. And whatever it takes, any opportunity to help others get into these houses and to obtain housing would be a great thing. Also, people may not know, but we do also specialize in single-family houses. It's just that our people have been with us for like over 20 years, so many of them, because our houses, there's nothing. We have over $900 in Marquette area with 4-bedroom, 2-bath, so who's leaving? And we would like to purchase more single-family houses and sell them as well. But again, we should work on those type of opportunities as NEZ to make that happen.
Thank you, Dr. Starr. Anyone else in the audience that wishes to give comment as part of this public hearing on the issuance of NEZ certificates? Okay, we're going to go to the phones. That's 231-724-6721. This is an opportunity to phone in public comment specifically with regard to the issuance of neighborhood enterprise zone certificates for 973 Ducey, 983 Ducey, and 1003 Ducey Avenue. Does not sound like we have any takers for this public hearing. All right, commissioners, I would entertain a motion.
I move to close the public hearing and approve the neighborhood enterprise zone certificate for 15 years at 973 Ducey Avenue, 983 Ducey, and 1003 Ducey Avenue, and authorize the city clerk and mayor to sign the applications and resolutions.
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Keener, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. Unless there's any further discussion, roll call, please.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Yes.
Commissioner Keener?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next public hearing is Neighborhood Enterprise Zone Certificate for 535 Yuba Street. Welcome back. If you would kindly introduce yourself once more and please report out on this item.
Absolutely. Good evening, Isabella Gonzalez, Development Analyst with the City of Muskegon. So today we're talking about a Neighborhood Enterprise Zone Certificate for 535 Yuba Street. Recently, I believe at the August 12th Commission meeting, the district was expanded to include this address. And this application was received by Terry Kitchen, the developer, for a new construction home. It'll be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. The cost of construction is $200,000, and the applicant has met local and state requirements for the issuance of the certificate for 15 years.
Thank you, Analyst Gonzalez. Commissioners, do you have any questions at this time? Commissioner German?
Yes. Hi. Is it Gonzalez?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for being here this evening. You mentioned, is the realtor Miss Kitchen? Is that you said? Okay.
Yes.
Is she here today?
I do not believe so.
Okay. What about the developer?
She is the developer.
She is the developer.
She's actually the developer
Yes.
as well. Okay. Okay. I had a couple of questions for her. Okay. Reason I asked because this is in my ward, the Yuba Street area. I saw some development, a lot of development going on in that Jackson Hill area. That may be part of the Angel area too. So I always like the developer to come up. So at this point, that's not going to happen. So thank you.
All right, this is a public hearing, so we're going to open up to the audience. Is there anyone that wishes to give comment for this public hearing with regard to the issuance of a Neighborhood Enterprise Zone Certificate for 535 Yuba Street? Seeing no takers in the audience, we're going to go to the phones. That number is 231-724-6721. This is an opportunity for you to phone in public comment with regard to the issuance of an NEZ certificate for 535 Yuba Street. Does not sound like we have any takers. All right. Commissioners, I would entertain a motion.
I move to close the public hearing and approve the Neighborhood Enterprise Zone Certificate for 15 years at 535 Yuba Street and authorize the city clerk and mayor to sign the certificate and resolution.
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Commissioner Keener. Unless there's any further discussion, roll call, please.
Commissioner Cochin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Yes.
Commissioner Keener? Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, we have a public hearing on the establishment of a commercial redevelopment district encompassing 173, 175, and 177 West Clay Avenue. Welcome back, Analyst Gonzalez. Could you please report out on this item?
Absolutely. So today we have a public hearing for a PA 255. SNS Properties has requested the establishment of a commercial redevelopment district. It is for all three of those addresses. They requested the district, and creating this district will enable them to apply for a commercial facilities exemption certificate. If approved, the certificate will freeze the taxable value of the building and exempt the new real property investment from local property taxes for the duration of the exemption. So this is just for the establishment of the district.
Excellent. Commissioners, any questions for staff at this time? Commissioner Kilgo.
Thank you. So if we approve this, they still apply for the exemption, and then we would know 10-year, 5-year, 15-year at that point?
Yes, so we actually have the certificate next on the agenda.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, we're good.
All right, Commissioners, any other questions at this time? All right, we're going to go to the audience. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone that wishes to give public comment on the establishment of the district at this time? No? Do you have a question before we go to phones?
I actually do, yeah.
Commissioner Koshin, is for staff?
Yeah.
All right, Commissioner Koshin.
Thank you so much for your work on this. Something just popped in my mind, because we're going to be later voting on some form-based code zoning, and I know that involves some mixed use possibilities, not necessarily in that area, but just with the form-based code. And I'm thinking about this commercial redevelopment district where we are pausing, freezing the taxes. Is that something that could happen in form-based code? What we're voting on right now.
Yes.
It could happen in form-based code?
This is already in the form-based code.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's what I was assuming, but I
Yep.
wanted
Yeah.
to double check. So,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, zone agnostic in terms of, I believe, because it's more about investment and the use, and change use and the like. All right, any Commissioner Keener?
What is the intended use for the building? What are they planning? Do you know?
So they are rehabbing the interior and exterior of the building.
Okay.
Yep.
And what kind of commercial use are they utilizing it for? Would it be like shopping, retail, what?
Yes, so currently right now they have 2 tenants and they are looking for a third. They have Funky Punk and they also have the City Side Salon. So both different kind of commercial uses.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Keener. Commissioner German.
Yes, is the developer in the?
Yes, they
chamber?
are.
I'd like for the developer to come up and just kind of give the public a briefing on.
Hello,
Good
my
evening,
name's
sir.
Jim Stevens, S&S Properties.
How you doing, Mr. Stevens?
Welcome.
You said Stevenson. Right?
Stevens.
Stevens, okay. You just kind of brief the public on your project and why you're interested in this NEZ certificate.
Well, I took this building I'm going to say it's very old. If you would have seen it, you probably have. It was from the 1940s, and the building was very rough shape. So I purchased it and started redeveloping it, and went to the did a fascia grant, and the whole front is getting all remodeled. And then we started working in the inside too. And then we found out about this tax. So already we have the 2 in there, and then today, another lady that's leaving one of your chalets wants to rent the other part. So she is signing the contract probably tomorrow on that one.
Oh, that's exciting.
So it'll be 2 retails and then the hairstylist. And they're fully brand new roof, all new air conditioning, heating, all remodeled inside, everything.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to visualize the vicinity of this building. Would that be close to the
It's where the tax
radio?
accounting building used
Forest
to be.
County?
Yes.
Yeah, in
Her
that
old-
vicinity. Yeah,
Correct.
that's what I thought.
Right
Yeah.
across from the farmer's market.
Yeah, okay. Yep, so, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner German. Any other questions for Mr. Stevens? Commissioner Kilgo.
Yeah, not a question as much as I know how old the building is, and I think that this district allows you to pass some of those cost savings on to those tenants that will be renting from you, and I would love to see all of those businesses in our downtown area to be full. So I'm glad that you had another tenant come forward and say that they'd like to rent the vacant one right now. So I hope that this passes and your redevelopment goes well and your tenants thrive in there.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Anything else to ask our commissioners? Yeah, so in that same vein, I was curious because you mentioned the new tenant coming in. And about to sign the lease or the contract. So is the terms of that contract predicated on or based upon the presumption that this is approved?
No.
Or if this is approved, there'd be more favorable terms than offered to your tenant? Because, you know, as Commissioner Kilgo alluded to, part of the reason for approving these things is to make commercial space more attainable for tenants. So
Right now, I'm keeping them very low in price, and that's why they're staying there and coming in. I have put over, when I get done, there'll be $500,000 put in it. And I will probably never see that rent come back, I mean, for years and years and years, so Yeah, they're way affordable.
Okay, so you're already starting at a very affordable rate for
Yeah.
for your tenant.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you, Mr. Stevens.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to give comment with regard to the establishment of a commercial redevelopment district for 173, 175, and 177 Clay Avenue? Seeing no takers in the audience, we're going to go to the phones. That's 231-724-6721. This is specifically a public hearing with regard to the establishment of a commercial redevelopment district. Does not sound like we have any takers for phone and comment. Commissioners, I would entertain a motion.
I move to close the public hearing and approve the establishment of the commercial redevelopment district for 173, 175, and 177 West Clay Avenue, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the resolution.
Support. We have a motion by Commissioner Keener, supported by Commissioner German. Unless there's any further discussion, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Keener,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item is a public hearing for the issuance of a commercial facilities exemption certificate for 175 and 177 West Clay Avenue. Welcome back, Analyst Gonzalez. Could you please report out on this?
Absolutely. So SNS Properties applied for a commercial facilities exemption certificate for 175 and 177 West Clay. This is because work has already begun on 173, but the district was established in the event that they wanted to do any work in the future. So they plan to rehabilitate that 5,300 square foot building. It begun this September, and the project, he talked a little bit about the investment, so it's a substantial investment. The internal tax committee reviewed the application, and based on their findings and calculations, they recommend a approval for 4 years of real property tax abatement. So the applicant submitted all of the required proper documentation, and yes, as it should be noted, 173 is not part of this certificate.
Thank you, Analyst Gonzalez. Commissioners, any questions for staff on this item? No? All right. This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience wish to give comment with regard to the issuance of a commercial facilities exemption certificate for 175 and 177 West Clay Avenue? Seeing no takers in the audience, we're going to go to the phones. That number is 231-724-6721, 231-724-6721. This is phone and comment specifically with regard to the issuance of a commercial facilities exemption certificate. All right, does not sound like we have any takers for phone and comments. Commissioners, I would entertain a motion.
I move to close the public hearing and approve a 4-year commercial facilities exemption certificate for SNS Properties and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the resolution.
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Keener, supported by Commissioner Cochin. Before we go to vote, I just want to say thank you, Mr. Stevens, for choosing to grow with Muskegon. And so if there's any other comments or questions, then we're going to go to roll call.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Keener,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And next public hearing and final public hearing for the evening is amendment to the City of Muskegon Scattered Site Infill Housing Brownfield Plan. Good evening, sir. Kindly introduce yourself and please report out on this item.
Good evening, Mike Franzak. I'm the planning director. This will be the 5th amendment to this infill housing brownfield plan. This is a pretty simple one. We are adding 71 vacant lots that houses can be built on, and we'll be removing Frebel School from the plan Preble was approved for a LIHTC apartment complex, and they will most likely be utilizing their own brownfield TIF on that project. So we'll be removing that from this, and the 71 lots, as I mentioned, will be added in, where we'll be able to take advantage of the tax capture through the brownfield TIF.
Yeah, thank you, Director Franzik. Commissioners, any questions? At this time, Commissioner Kilgo.
Thank you. As the manager stated earlier, the department that you're within, not necessarily your job, but your department is going to be putting together some data for us. I gladly, and I think we all would really love to see that data soon to kind of see how far we've come, where we're at, demographics and price points and days on market, all that good stuff. The core of these 71 that we're adding are there certain neighborhoods that the 71 are in, or?
No, they were all, I should explain, they were all properties that we acquired through the county tax foreclosure process since 2022. It was the last time that this was amended, so we're just adding all the ones we acquired since then, and they're just scattered throughout the city. Mostly on the east side, though.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Any other questions at this time? Nope. All right. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to give comment with regard to the Fifth Amendment to the City of Muskegon's Scattered Site Infill Housing Brownfield Plan? Seeing no takers in the audience, we're going to go to the phones. That number is 231-724-6721. 231-724-6721. This is for phone and comments specifically with regard to a Scattered Site Infill Housing Brownfield Plan Amendment. Does not sound like we have any takers for phone and comments. Commissioners, I would entertain a motion.
I move to close the public hearing and approve the Fifth Amendment to the City of Muskegon Scattered Site Infill Housing Brownfield Plan Amendment as presented.
Support.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor St. Clair, supported by Commissioner Cochin. Unless there's any further discussion, roll call, please.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Keener,
Yes.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right. I don't think I see any federal, state, or county officials in the audience that may wish to give us updates. So we're going to move on to public comment on agenda items. I don't have any forms for requests to speak on an agenda item. Is there anyone in the audience who's here that wishes to give comment on an agenda item and it's not their agenda item? Because they'll have an opportunity to speak on their agenda item if it gets pulled for discussion and deliberation. So anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on an agenda item other than their own? All right, seeing no takers, we're going to go to the phones. This is an opportunity for the public to give comment on any of the agenda items. That number is 231-724-6721. If you call in, please turn down any audio in the background, state your name, which agenda item you're speaking on or agenda items, and if you are a City of Muskegon resident, which neighborhood you're calling from. All right, does not sound like we have any takers for public comment on agenda items.
We did have somebody just trying to call, but they hung up.
Oh, they hung up right after they tried calling?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll give that another second, though, see if
Okay.
they try calling back.
Yep. Oh, they are calling.
Okay. Item. And if you are a City of Muskegon resident, which neighborhood? Please turn down the audio in the background. Good evening. You're with the City of Muskegon City Commission. Please identify yourself and which agenda items you are speaking on.
Lee Roberts. I might be late, but I was trying to call in on the Brown project you were talking about.
The Brownfield Plan Amendment. Yeah, we're beyond that. You are welcome to call back.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I was calling in. You guys didn't answer the phone.
He can still
That's
comment on
just fake
it.
news, huh?
You are welcome to call back under general public comment. Oh, he hung up.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Uh,
did call right after the vote, though.
Okay, so sorry, sir, you called right after we voted to close that previous public hearing. However, you have an opportunity to call back during general public comment to share your thoughts with the city commission. All right, moving on to consent agenda. Commissioners, you have an opportunity to review the consent agenda. Are there any items that you wish to have removed for separate deliberation and vote? Commissioner Coach.
Item B, C.
T
Yeah,
as in
C as
boy?
in boy, C as in cat, and F as in Frank.
Commissioners, any other items? All right. Commissioners, I would entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented, minus items B, C, and F.
So move.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner German, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. Before we go to roll call, though, on this, rather than pulling it from the consent agenda, I do want to acknowledge this other item and give them an opportunity to speak if they wish. Mr. Roberson, on your item, you don't have to. No one pulled it from the consent agenda, but I'm excited for your new restaurant coming downtown, and so I wish to give you an opportunity to speak on that if you wish. I can do that. All right. If you'd kindly come to the podium and introduce yourself.
Will Robertson Sr. Give you my address and stuff.
Nope.
Okay, so yeah, I'm the president and co-owner of OB Southern Brunch House, coming to downtown Muskegon in the old M Live building.
Fantastic. Can you tell us about the restaurant they're going to be serving? And the item that's on our agenda is for the issuance of a DDA Class C liquor license for OB's Southern Brunch House.
Yeah, so we need that liquor license, or wanted it. I guess it wasn't a need. So we're going to offer various mimosas and Bloody Marys and other specialty drinks to go along with some of our southern dishes, authentic dishes for the most part. We are aware of the trending items in brunch, and, the chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, so we will be offering some of that stuff. But for the most part, we're going to focus on those old southern dishes that our grandparents used to make.
Excellent. And your outlook for when you might be opening?
We're going to start renovation here in a couple of weeks, so we're hoping to get in by end of November.
All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Mr. Roberson. I really appreciate your investing in Muskegon and choosing to grow with Muskegon.
Yeah, thanks for your approval. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, brother.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Keener? Yes. Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item B, rezoning of properties along Peck Street and its side streets from Apple Avenue to Laketon Avenue to form-based code. Neighborhood Edge. Commissioner Cochin.
Yes, and I do not have to read all of those, right? Okay.
Yes,
You can just stay as. Yeah.
Okay. I move to the request to rezone the properties as listed be approved.
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. Good evening, sir. Please identify yourself and report out on this item.
Mike Franzak, Planning Director. So staff, in working with some of the house owners and business owners in the district, realized that there was some pretty big errors with the zoning that currently exists on Peck Street. After looking at the zoning regulations for the bulk and area requirements, we noticed that almost every single house and business is out of compliance, making them legally non-conforming or grandfathered because they don't meet the building requirements or the setbacks, the lot width, and the minimum lot size for the RM1 districts. So we do have a zoning district available now in the form-based code neighborhood core that would bring all of these into conformance and have pretty much the same predictable building heights and sizes and use types without changing any of that. Also on the east side of Peck Street, I believe just north of Irwin, there's the strip of businesses there. Really nice business suites built with the zero lot line, very walkable urban type of development that we like to see. However, if that was to be demoed, they could not even rebuild that back the way it is, even though that's the type of development we would like to see, because again, that zoning district with the B1 really limits them for what they can do. It actually limits the size of a business to 2,000 square feet, which many of those are over, and we want to encourage business expansion, not reduction. So we believe that this rezoning will help basically all of the property owners up and down this corridor to come into conformance.
All right, thank you, Director Franzik. Commissioner Cochin?
Thank you. I thank you so much for looking into all of these addresses. There's more than I wanted to sit here and say, and I do not mind asking a lot of questions. The one thing I wanted to ask was, at the Planning Commission meeting, I know that there was talk about concern with parking in this area and the density and the opportunity that this might increase density. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
I'm not sure if it'll increase density much, at least not right away. Maybe if properties were to consolidate, they might have more options for building denser properties. But the RM1 district currently allows pretty dense development on it as well. Just have to have the right amount of property and accumulate them and combine them to do so. So really in terms of density, we shouldn't see too much of a change here.
Okay, and the parking, that ties into that also. Can you speak to those concerns about the parking?
Most properties have parking lots on Peck Street. I believe there's parking also on both sides of the street, if I recall correctly. And I don't really think of it too much of an issue, and in working with any of the business owners and property owners, they weren't really too concerned with any of the parking requirements.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. Commissioner Kilgo, as supporter of the motion, do you have anything to ask or add?
I do, thank you. Director Franzik, there are a lot of properties listed here that we didn't rattle off. Are a select number of them getting this neighborhood edge change and a select number of them getting the neighborhood core change?
Yes. So only the southernmost properties are going to get the neighborhood core, and those are the ones that are closest to Laketon. And we figure that those properties, while there's not many, are good candidates for higher density because they are off of Laketon and near the transit routes. So trying to plan for transit-oriented development, we think that this would be a great place for some more dense apartments, if that was ever desired in that area.
So for clarification for the public, the neighborhood core the neighborhood core minimums are 2-story, but they can have a maximum of a 5-story building there?
Yes, and those are just on those ones closest to Laketon.
Okay.
The rest would be neighborhood edge, which only allows up to 3 stories.
3 stories.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Commissioners, anything else to ask or add? No? All right. Thank you, Director Franzik. Roll call, please.
Commissioner German,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Keener.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, item C, rezoning of properties on Lakeshore Drive and Edgewater Street to form-based code. Commissioner Cochin.
Yes, I move the request to rezone the properties as listed be approved.
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. Good evening. You didn't go anywhere. Director Franzik, please report out on this item.
Sure. So this is another case where we had a couple of issues pop up over the past year, which made us as staff look into the zoning a little bit further. On this map, the one furthest to your right, the east, that property had to get a variance last year to be able to demo the house, which was pretty much falling apart. They were looking at either demoing it and building new or trying to save it and rehab it. It turns out it was too far gone. So they wanted to demo it and build new. However, the waterfront marine zone does not allow for housing. It does allow for hotels and motels, but not housing. And then fast forward to just a couple months ago, we had another property owner who demoed their house right in the middle there, and they wanted to build multifamily housing. Again, not allowed. But all of these highlighted properties in red are actual houses, and they, again, are considered grandfathered, legally non-conforming, and staff wasn't really sure why this area was zoned like that. It appears like it's been zoned this way since our 1986 zoning map, which we often reference, and we weren't sure if it was property owners looking to sell to marinas or property owners wanted their own personal marinas. So we held a focus group with all these property owners and asked them, what are your plans for the future? Do you want it just for housing? Do you want to sell it to a marina? Do you want your own marina? And we kind of heard a little bit of everything. Some people just wanted a house. Some people wanted a multifamily house. Some already have 3 or 4 unit houses on site. And one of them actually wanted to have multifamily housing and a private marina. But the waterfront marine zoning doesn't allow for that. So if you recall, about a month or two ago, we amended the lakeside form-based code mixed residential context area to allow for marinas, which also allows for housing up to 6 units. So the goal for that was to amend it to allow for marinas and then to rezone these properties to that designation so that the people that own them can either have single-family housing, multifamily housing up to 6 units, and even marinas. So really they can stay there and decide what it is exactly they want to do.
Commissioner Cochin?
Thank you very much for that breakdown. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was the multi-unit housing. I know that there's been some concerns about how many units would be going down in this new zoning area. Can you explain how many units would be allowed maximum?
Yes, you can have up to a small multiplex, which is 6 units.
Okay. And the number of stories, is that limited?
Yes, it's limited to 3 stories.
Okay. During the Planning Commission meeting, there was a comment about we would have a row of Belcomb's Coves down there blocking the view of the lake. Do you think that that's a possibility?
No, you'd only be able to go up 3 stories and have 6 units, so be much, much smaller than Belcomb's Cove.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The other question that I got, and I know there's probably more people wondering, if we do this, will that increase the capacity in that area for the short-term rentals?
We have a fixed number, so no.
It's well over.
Zoning is, we're well over.
I
the
know we're well
4%,
over, but I wanna
no,
know
it's a
if it will
fixed number.
change.
No, because it's a fixed number. So we didn't have it's not based on a percentage, it's a fixed number at at the time of the adoption of the ordinance, so we'd have to amend that fixed number to increase. So any increase in the number of housing units would not automatically increase the number of short-term rental permits that would be allowed.
Until the next census?
Until we independently amend it to
Okay.
increase the number.
All right, excellent. Okay, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Kilgo.
Thank you. Are any of the houses in the red there, are those in the Lakeside Business District or no? They're too far down?
They'd be considered outside of it, yeah.
Outside of it, okay. Do you happen to know, are any of those parcels currently STRs?
I don't know.
Okay, no problem. No, you don't have to pull out your genie ball. I was just curious if you knew or not. But they can be long-term rentals
Yes.
if they're renting
That
over
gentleman just
30
passed
days
away.
and somebody wanted to build a sixplex and make it a rental with long-term renters in there, they could do that. So max 6 units, max 3 stories, but there's most of those parcels currently have existing buildings.
Yes.
So it's not like they're all gonna knock down their buildings tomorrow and build 3-story units.
Nope, there's some pretty sturdy houses still
I
remaining
thought
in the
so.
area. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Commissioners, anything else to ask or add? Commissioner Keener.
Also, just to keep commission informed, I sit on planning commission, and a good deal of the individuals who live here plan to keep living there. Some plan to have their own personal marina there, or even sail off eventually to marina. And we really thought it to be a good idea to change the zoning. We talked about probably this item the longest.
Thank you, Commissioner Keener. Appreciate that context. Anything else, Commissioners, before we go to roll call? Nope. All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Yes.
Commissioner Keener?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item, Sunday, a new event at Pure Marquette. Commissioner Cochin.
Do I have to disclose first, or do I make the motion?
Just make the motion first and we'll take it from there.
I move to approve the Sunday event at Pierre Marquette on Sunday, September 21st, 2025.
Support.
We got a motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. First, we'll get the report. Kindly introduce yourself, sir, and let us know what this event's about.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. This is, I am Dan Vanderheit, the Director of Public Works, filling in for Jackie Ernie. This is a new event at Pure Marquette this year, and per the special event policy, we need to bring new events to the Commission for your approval. This is a relatively small event compared to some of the events at the beach. It is taking place on, date on the cover sheet. So it is taking place here in a couple of weeks, and it is intended to be a celebration of solar energy and renewable energy, and will include some information for the community and a brief photo on the beach, things like that. So welcome any questions, and the event is on September 21st.
Thank you, Director Vanderhyde. I thought I had little flyers with me. I was going to hand amongst the commissioners, but we have the event organizer here, the applicant for this. So before we open it up to questions, well, unless there's any questions for staff, we're going to hear from the event organizer. If you'd kindly come up to the podium and introduce yourself, and if you do have little flyers, you can hand that to the end right there, Ms. Potter, and she can hand them down to the commission.
Hi, yes, my name is Lynn Armentrout. I live in Muskegon and NIMS. Sunday is actually a National Day of Action, and we've organized this great event here in Muskegon. We are faced with, it's going to be a fun and educational event, and also a really important one, because we now have a dire need to stop burning fossil fuels. And for the first time in modern history, we no longer need to, because solar energy is now the cheapest form of energy on the planet. So a lot of people don't know that, and they also don't realize how quickly we need to make that transition, and that we actually can. So please come, learn more, have some fun. There are going to be demonstrations, information, rally. We're going to have a press event, which the mayor will be speaking. So I think it's just going to be a really great day to both uplift and rally for something incredibly important to our planet right now. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Armentrout, which brings us to the next point, which is just an acknowledgement or disclosure by myself, as well as Commissioner Cochin, that we anticipate speaking at this event, but we are otherwise, well, at least I presume, I don't believe either one of us is any way organizing this or financially benefiting from this event. It is being organized independently, and we just anticipate being there to speak. But I'm going to hand it off to Commissioner Cochin, followed by Commissioner Kilgo.
Yes. So I pulled this because I wanted to be transparent and let folks know that I will be speaking at the event, but I will not be benefiting from it financially, nor am I involved in the planning of the event. But I'm very, very, very excited to see it coming to our beach. I think we have a lot of opportunity here in the city of Muskegon to look at renewable resources for our energy. And solar is amazing. And so I'm just kind of geeked to go to this and to be able to speak at it.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. Commissioner Kilgo.
Thank you. I will also disclose this event is already on my calendar. Indy Next Gen is doing some great work here in our community. I do plan on going. And so I'll disclose, I mean, if they'd like me to speak, I'd be more than happy to. I'm really, I think this is a great event for our community to have, to bring some awareness to our renewable energies that we can help continue to make our planet great for future generations to come. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Commissioners, anything else to ask or add this time? No? All right. Before we go to roll call, I just want to say thank you for organizing this event, and pending Commissioner approval, I look forward to joining you at the event and speaking as well. So roll call, please.
Commissioner Cochin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair? Yes. Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Yes.
Commissioner Keener?
Yes.
Commissioner German?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Well, that concludes our consent agenda. We don't have any unfinished business. We don't have any new business. Commissioners, any other business? I know our manager has something you wish to address with us under any other business. But commissioners, do you have anything under any other business that you wish to raise? Commissioner German.
Oh, yes, thank you, Mayor. I was intending to bring this up yesterday, but I just said I would mention it today, and someone mentioned the Moses Jones Expressway. I don't see that sign out there. We talked about that when I guess they were doing some work a couple years ago. And what is the timeline, or are they planning on putting that sign up there on the expressway off of Moses Jones?
Which,
Is that going towards US 31?
so like between Marquette and downtown?
Actually, more or less going south. I mean, going north, but it's right off of Spring Street as you go towards between Spring and Marquette. I would say, yeah, because there was some work being done, I guess, once before, and we talked about the removal of that sign, but it has not been put back.
I'll confer with DPW to see where that's at. Depending on the stretch, it might be an MDOT question. Because that's a different area, but we'll look into it.
Yeah, and the reason I brought that up because I got a chance to meet Mr. Reverend Moses Jones, stuff he did in the community, a leader, advocate, when I was a young boy, and also attended the church services that he pastored at off of Wood and Amity. So that tribute and that sign really means a lot, to the community, not only me, but, as the work was done by a leader like him. I think that sign really signifies a memory of his work, and something named after him, it should be recognized.
Thank you, Commissioner German. Commissioner Keener.
Speaking of signs removed, I live in the East Muskegon neighborhood, and I guess I lived there so long, I know my way around. But someone was dropping something off to our food truck and couldn't find where to go because we have no street signs. And so there are no street signs at all in the neighborhood. So I'm just wondering about that. I meant to bring it up to you just personally, but since we talk about
Add it to the list.
I will say one other, just to decide, one other unique aspect of over where you live is for some reason it says it's Northern Shores. But it's the city of Muskegon. You go out there. Mr. Manager, you had something?
On that topic, I was going to say, have you noticed, is it all the signs in your neighborhood, like north of Hackley?
Or
is it, okay.
From Delano to Barney and all of the
Gotcha.
Hackley.
Okay.
Go to Commissioner Coach and then Commissioner Kilgo.
On that sign note, the Tree City USA sign in Glenside has also disappeared, and I think that Glenside would like that back. But beyond that, there is a cool opportunity for a class on community emergency response, and it's a training that the county will be putting on, and it will be going for 7 weeks, starting September 17th from 6 to 9 p.m. and ending October 29th. And that's again through the Muskegon County emergency response team, and it's the basic training. As things change, we've noticed more extreme storms coming into our neighborhoods. Having this kind of training would be really ideal. So if anybody's interested, that's available on the county's Facebook page.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. Commissioner Kilgo.
Thank you. Earlier this evening, we had the Constitutional Week proclamation, and I just want to say that I hope that the city of Muskegon upholds to that Constitution, regardless of the Supreme Court's recent decision that says that racial profiling is okay. It's not okay here in the city of Muskegon, and for us to have justice for all, like we say every week in our Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Anything else for any other business, commissioners? No? Before we go to the Mr. Manager on his item, just a couple things to share. One of which I may not be at the Planning Commission meeting this Thursday. I'm going to Flint tomorrow, and I've been invited to present to the Mott Foundation, their Board of Trustees annual meeting. And so they're meeting tomorrow and Thursday, and they've asked me to be there and present to their board, speaking on Muskegon and Muskegon Lakes cleanup and restoration, the work that our community's done, their support for, and thanking them for their support, because Mount Foundation has been very supportive of Healing Our Waters Coalition, as well as the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative, of which we're a member. I'm actively involved, and so it's to update them on the progress that we're making, thank them for their investments, their strategic investments, and encourage them to continue to support those strategic investments, particularly as we look to get a Muskegon Lake Watershed Management Plan in place and done to help guide us for a post AOC area of concern world for our community. And so I'll be rushing back from Flint on Thursday. I don't think I'll make the Planning Commission, but I'll try. So I just wanted to share that if I'm not there, you know why. And also on September 23rd, our next general session, I will unfortunately not be at that meeting as well. So Vice Mayor St. Clair will be chairing. In that case, I'm going to be going to New York City as part of the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative. It is an organization comprising nearly 400 members, member communities throughout Canada and the United States, and throughout the Great Lakes Basin and St. Lawrence Seaway. I was recently elected to the board of directors for that. I'm only the second Michigan mayor outside of Detroit Mayor Duggan, who's on that board of directors for the cities initiative. And I'm also a member of the Mayor's Commission on Economic Transformation, and we are presenting during Climate Week our Economic Transformation Action Plan for development of a fresh coast economic corridor throughout the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Seaway. And so we'll be presenting that week in New York City, and so I'll be joining my fellow mayors and chiefs throughout Canada and the United States for that. So unfortunately, I will not be joining you on September 23rd. I just wanted to let you know where I'll be. And you'll be in good hands, though, with the Vice Mayor St. Clair as chair. And so now I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Manager.
So I had two things. One, we had a discussion about the millage rates, and I pulled up the countywide millage rate sheets, and I just wanted to note that the city of Muskegon's millage rate in Muskegon Public Schools is the fourth lowest of the 5 cities in the metro. Roosevelt Park is the highest, Muskegon Heights, North Muskegon, City of Muskegon, and then Norton Shores. So that's from the county's millage rate data. And then Montague and Whitehall, Montague's a little bit higher, and Whitehall's a little bit higher too, just barely. So when you're looking at the 7 cities within the county, we're on the lower end. So just wanted to point that out.
Good context.
Yep. So I wanted to kind of take the commission's temperature on the brief discussion we had last night. That was a joke. about Fisherman's Landing, 3rd Street Wharf, the Mart Dock, the project that we're calling Connecting Communities to Water, Ports, and Parks. Obviously, we had a really long, robust discussion, answered a lot of questions. I actually enjoyed my time at the podium yesterday. It was kind of cool to be back presenting a project from that point of view. But at the end of the conversation, as the night got long, I neglected to say, so where are we sitting right now on this before we engage in doing
Further negotiations?
what was that?
Further negotiations?
Further negotiations, fleshing out the exhibits and things of that nature, which will be an investment on our part, which is the primary reason the exhibits weren't there. Most of the exhibits are legal descriptions, with the exception of the campground lease. So that would be a part that still needs to be negotiated out. So I'm just kind of looking for, I'm comfortable with the direction we're going. I don't think I'm ever going to get there. Something along those lines, just so that I can figure out how to best spend our time, energy, and resources in the next 2 months.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. I'll just kick this off. As you all heard me last night, I'm not going to reiterate all the questions and commentary that I shared last night, but that I did have reservations about the draft agreement as proposed, and the key word is draft in my mind, and so that as written, I'm not yet committed to voting in favor of that, and so given what I shared last night, I would welcome consideration by the parties for potentially refining the agreement to take that into account, which would help move me more firmly in the affirmative on that agreement. So that's my perspective, and I saw your hand first, Commissioner Kilgo.
My temperature, Mr. Manager, I don't quite have a fever.
Okay.
We're close. Some of the things that I'd like to see are maybe a timetable for getting the construction started maybe after the grant is approved or something, just some sort of timetable that once we know that the money will be there for the sales and the sales go through, that they get started with it. That's just where I'm at. I'd like to see something like that.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo.
I agree. I think the general framework is there. I think that there's more that will come with the continuing work that I think will help to answer some questions, but there are definitely still some questions.
Thank you, Vice Mayor St. Clair. Commissioner Cochen?
Yes. So I have heard from a lot of people who have shared their concerns, and I didn't really get into some of the things that, thanking everybody last night or sharing some more of my concerns or thoughts on the project, because I kind of wanted to get into the questions so I could get a better idea of what this looks like. And after speaking with you, Mr. Manager, I have a better idea from the city's end. What I did not get last night was a real tenable idea from the developer of what this is going to look like. And seeing as how this iteration has changed from the original iteration that was proposed to us in the beginning, I have a lot of big concerns, especially about what this could look like financially for us if these grants aren't available to be obtained, and what that remediation would look like cost-wise on that Verplank property. So at this point in time, unless I see something that shows me these things, I'm not looking at wanting to move forward. That doesn't mean I'm not willing to have a conversation in the future, but with the information that I have right now, I've got way more questions than I have answers on the other end.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochen. Commissioner German.
Yes, Mayor. I thought it was a good discussion. We gave City Manager the directive to go ahead and pursue, to at least have some discussion about this swap of the property. I was not sold, as I stated before, nor am I interested in this taking place at this time for a swap because I've heard a lot of ifs and concerns, as I've stated. We don't know what it looks like. The conversion piece that has basically the city kind of locked in. You can't get that property at Verplank unless you go through Verplank and Martdock. Portion of the grant that's not guaranteed. So there's too many, for me, too many unknowns, what ifs, and I think it would do citizens a disservice here at the city of Muskegon. The public access at the campground, actually I've visited there quite a few times. When Kevin Wright would call, I would come down there for the events, the Dream Weaver event with the children. There's other events. Talk to fishermen down there, people camping. And I get it, you know, I've talked with President of Mark Dark, Max McKee. We had some good conversations, and does the project sounds good? Yeah, it sounds good, but we don't know. It's a lot of unknowns, and that concerns me. And for the most part of it, it's not replacing the campground. I could see if we were swapping and then we could replace that campground to give the community that back in return. That's a major concern right there. So I think this benefits the businesses of Mark Dark more than it does the community within the Fisherman Landing residents or visitors. Also, once that area develops down there, yeah, they may have some access to the waterfront or whatever, but once they go to building homes and condos, and a lot of times we know regular citizens or homeless people aren't welcome. I received those calls and I had conversation with the former chair or president of the chamber, was it last year, about homeless people and people coming downtown, but these people are welcome also. We're a welcoming city, need to display a sense of belonging for all, and right now I don't see that. I don't get that energy. All I see is an interest in investing and swapping a property for gain. So, not that it wouldn't look nice or benefit and be a nice tax base, but it has to be something, to me, more equitable that would benefit generations after generations, and everyone can benefit from it. So that's my take on it.
Thank you, Commissioner German. Commissioner Keener?
Oh, we spent like 3 hours yesterday talking about this, so I'm good.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Keener. Commissioner Gorman?
I am supportive of staff moving forward. Give us an actual plan, or sorry, actual proposal, move forward on the exhibits we expressed seeing final versions of.
Thank you, Commissioner Gorman. Heard enough, Mr. Manager? Yep. All right. Unless there's anything else for any other business commissioners, we're going to move on to general public comment. I have one comment form. If you do wish to give public comment, I encourage you to complete a public comment form at the back of the room. Please provide your name, home address. I will not be sharing your home address, nor I'm asking you to announce it. That's for our records. I will be acknowledging which neighborhood you're joining us from if you're a city resident. And if you're not a city resident, which other township, village, or city you're joining us from. First up, we have Mark Flamone joining us from the NIMS neighborhood. Yeah, you can. Thank you. And you have up to 3 minutes to provide your remarks.
So several weeks ago, I was here and presented about traffic and safety and the lack of traffic safety. And we purchased signs to promote better driving skills, Then I find out that for the entire time I've owned the buildings in Lakeside, we've been violating sign ordinances. All of a sudden, we have violations. It's been going on for 8 years. So I took 30 minutes and drove around the city today, or yesterday. And as you can see, we're not the only ones violating it. It's an ordinance that's not enforced unless maybe someone's mad at us. It seems like retaliation. I don't want to think that, but if it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's probably a duck. We either need to change the ordinance to fit what's happening in the city, or stop using it as a target for people that you're mad at. I don't want to think that's what happened, but it sure feels that way, and if you were in my shoes, you'd feel the same way. So it's very difficult as a business owner to feel that way. Think what you want, see what you want, but I need some sort of a solution, because it's gonna hurt our businesses if they can't advertise on the terrace like they've been doing since they've been in the buildings. So that being said, I've gotten a lot of complaints. I was out of town for 2 weeks. I haven't paid much attention to traffic. Biggest complaint I got was people not stopping at crosswalks when people are in the crosswalks. And I didn't see it. I haven't seen the ones that people have complained to me about. But Sunday, I was working at my shop, had to use the facilities at Wesco, so I walked across Laketon. On my way back, I went to the crosswalk at Franklin, right by the sandbar. No traffic coming from my left, so I start walking. Got halfway across the street and 2 black SUVs come up the hill, probably a little bit over the speed limit. I couldn't tell you the speed because I don't have one of them radar things in my head, but I'm pretty good at telling. First SUV, I don't know who it was. Second SUV was a city police officer. Never slowed down. The state law states you need to stop for people in the crosswalk, and if your police department don't want to follow the rules, then why should anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flamon. Next up, we have Dr. Starr joining us from the city of Norton Shores.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Starr from Open Gates of Grace Ministries, and I would just like to cordially invite all of you commissioners. I believe Pete may have gotten you an invitation. I don't know for sure if he did for the commissioners as well. But I would just like to personally invite you guys out on September 19th, 2025 at 3:00 p.m. We are having a soft open house ribbon cutting for our ministry. As you know, 3 years ago, we were victims of arson, and this has been a long, bumpy ride. I tell you, we had about $1.7 million worth of damage, and our insurance company would not cover it. And the city came through and gave us a $100,000 grant, and we would like to honor you for that, as well as many people who has been such a support to us during this long, bumpy road. And we have so much further to go, but during that time was a time of growth. We did provide additional affordable housing for the unhoused. And so we provided another 15 units, spent about another $300,000 in the last 3 years, providing programs and feeding and all those different things for our people. And we would just love to let you see how far we've grown, and would love to celebrate with you all, because every single one of you have been on this bumpy journey with us. And many of you guys know me. But really, as I told even Mayor Johnson, I would love for us to have an opportunity to rebuild our relationship as we rebuild our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Starr. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to give public comment at this time? All right, seeing no takers in the audience, we're going to go to the phones. That number is 231-724-6721. Again, 231-724-6721. If you're calling in, please turn down any audio in the background. State your name. And if you're a City of Muskegon resident, which neighborhood you're calling from. If you're not a city resident, which other township, village, or city you're calling from. And you have 3 minutes to provide your remarks. All right, does not sound like we have any takers for phone and comments. Commissioners, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All right, I have a motion by Vice Mayor St. Clair, supported by Commissioner Keener. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you. Take care and be well.
Good evening.